And welcome to Thursday Live. It feels like we just did Monday Live. We did. So welcome everyone. How's it going? How is everyone doing? Hopefully your week is going great. We're going to jump right in to this painting today. So Thursdays are what Thursdays are, and I love that about this feed. It's just kind of whatever's going on in the studio. And it's been a crazy week, but I'm getting a lot done. And I thought I would take you guys on for the ride. So what I have for today or tonight, depending on where you are, is a 543 commission for Adam Pratt, who runs Youngstown. I keep wanting to say Youngstown Harley, but it's Youngstown Cycle and Speed, and they're a great bike shop that does all kinds of stuff. And Adam's a great pinstriper too, so that's how I came across him. So he has this wonderful shoebox, Ford shoebox, and I thought I would paint this for him. So that's what we're doing today. And I only have one little bit of show and tell, which I'm pretty excited about. And I will share that with you guys in a minute. So hello to everyone. I can see you guys jumping on. That's very, very cool. And thank you for everyone who was around last night for the Open Studio premiere, the episode 2 for the Razor Blade. That's going to be a fun painting. It's probably, if it's like any other razor blade, they only take me about 8 to 10 hours. So you're only looking at about 20 episodes altogether. So they're going to go fast and furious, which will be fun. And I love the new premiere thing. I love being able to hang out with you guys when that is running. So great. All right. That's all I got. Let's get to it. Let me switch you over here. Move to this, and I will say hello. Michael McClung, what's up? Cody Adams, Enzo, and Dan, what's going on, everyone? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so if you follow my feed and other feeds like my feed, you are probably familiar with the gentleman named Cheese Grits and NyQuil, also known as Pat Redman. Oh, thanks, Cody. I had a blast. That's so much fun. Enzo, I'm doing great, man. So Pat had won, and I sent him his painting, and Pat said, hey, and I knew this about him, but he said, hey, I make jewelry too, and I want to make you something. And I'm like, oh, well, all right then. So he asked me a few questions, and he said, okay, I'm on it, and this is what he sent. So I haven't even opened it yet. It is still in the package. So I thought I would do kind of an unboxing with you guys, because I have an idea, a general idea what's in here, but I do not know what's in here. So this is a blast. So we'll open it up and we'll get going. And I didn't see Mr. NyQuil on, but this goes up on my page anyway. So if he was unable to come in today with us live, I'm sure he'll be able to watch it after. Super, super excited. All right. Patrick is a fellow Massachusettsian. Okay. I have notes here. This is awesome. All right, so there's a long note. I'll read that later for me. I don't want to ruin the surprise. And he said, open only if you can't guess what the inlay material is. So why don't we all do this if you guys want to get a shot at this? Spoiler alert too. All right, so this is it. And he already apologized for the packaging. He said it was. He just said disregard it. So why don't I do this? I'm going to switch to this one. This way you can get in here. Let's see what's going on with this. I'm really, really excited about this. Okay. Goes this way. Oh, Jeebus. Holy crap. Holy crap, Ola. Kidding me. All right, so are you guys close enough? Can you see what's going on here? Can anyone guess what that inlay material is? This is beautiful. Holy crow. Gosh, and it fits perfect too. Any ideas? Any ideas? I didn't talk to him about, and actually this was, he had sent this and said I would get this if it's a New England thing. I'll have to figure this one out after. I know what it is, but I don't know why it is. Anyway, that's awesome. But back to this. Yeah, any ideas? You guys are focused, right? I'll stop moving it around. So it's the tan almost looks like, it's definitely like a sand color. The chips are, there's copper chips in there. There's orange clear like glass, as well as blue, bluish green, and red glass too. So I'm going to let you guys throw your guesses in. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to open this. I'm going to post this, and I'm going to have people see if they can guess what it is. So I'm not going to open the spoiler until people have a chance to guess. Pat, that is absolutely beautiful. That is insane. Thank you, buddy. Wow. All right. I am certainly not going to wear this while I paint. It's super comfortable too. He beveled the edges and oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to wear this, as I don't usually, well, I never wear jewelry when I paint because it always, that is a what could go wrong moment. So there you go. Bobby Silva, what's up? All right, glass from liquor bottles. Michael, I'm going to write that down because someone's gonna win the guessing game. That's awesome. Michael says glass from liquor bottles, from beer bottles. That actually would be really good too. All right, so let's get to it. Let's get right to it. So here is Adam's shoebox. I don't know what year this is. Ford made this car 49, 50, and 51. So it's only 3 years that they made this car, and it's been nicknamed the shoebox. His is a coupe. I didn't get to see the actual car. But if the pictures do any kind of justice to what this car really is, this thing is mint. And what I love about this car too is, you know, it's almost like in the late 40s, early 50s, this was kind of like the working man's car. So there were these cars were everywhere. However, the beauty of this car really stands the test of time, as proven by the people who restore these. And of course, these are a popular hot rod choice. Just amazing. So this is Adam's car, and we're just going to knock it out. And I think we can get it done in one sitting because, like the other project I did, I pre-cut all the templates, so you don't have to watch me cutting. It's not going to take any time out of what we're doing. So that's what I got. Bobby Silva. All right, so today's cheers is coffee. So if you're joining me with cheers, cheers to that. If you are on the other side of the pond, you can let me know what you're cheering. I gotta make sure I don't put my head in the way. Try to do my best. All right, let's get to it. So these are the Yupo, again, if you're not familiar with how I do these 543s, this is Yupo paper. I call it Yupo paper, but it's not really paper. It's polypropylene sheets, and then there's a special coating that they put on. And if you look real close at this one, I'll try to tilt it at an angle. There is a coating on this, and I found this out the hard way. So if you put, like I use FBS tape to tape this down, but if you use something aggressive like say 3M tape, which is how I spray these, I put a loop of tape down and I stick these to the board and then I spray them. Well, if the aggressive tape can pull up the coating that they put on this. So I guess my moral of that story is be careful with the finish. There is a finish. It's not just a sheet of polypropylene, which I thought it was. What time is the Wednesday night feed? It says 1 a.m. Yeah, Dan, the Wednesday premiere is at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. So for my friends in the UK, it's going to be late. It's going to be 1. But I did with the premiere for the Open Studio. I wanted to do that at a later time for me because I have nothing for the West Coast of the U.S. Everything I have is pretty much too early for them. So that's why I kind of chose 8 o'clock to move the Open Studio to. But you can rewatch it anytime. So anyway, so that's the Yupo. I spray it with Autoborne Sealer Gray. So if you are unfamiliar with Autoborn Sealer, go check out the Tech Tuesdays and I'll give you the drill. And then I sand it and you end up with this. All right. That's good. So we're going to start with the background. I always start with the background because with these it just makes a lot of sense. And oh, one other quick, while I'm setting this up, one other quick PSA. These I ended up doing, after all, I ended up doing 10 of these ornaments, the Christmas ornaments for this year. They're all signed and numbered and clear coated and everything. And so I wasn't going to do 10 of these. I didn't think I'd have time, but I ended up cranking them out. So there's a bunch of them that have already gone, but if you're interested in the yearly ornament thingy, these are on the site. And you can grab one. You can't, unfortunately, you can't pick the number. I'm just shipping them in the order that the orders come in. But yeah, that's that. I'm out of red ones. The last red one's gone from last year. Next year is definitely going to be blue. All right, so get the car in here. I've already photoshopped this to get this to the right composition, and this is actually a photo that Adam had taken and sent me. What else? So yeah, so I went in Photoshop, scaled it down, moved it around. I messed around with the, oh, give me 1 second. My computer just switched to screensaver mode and it's got music with it. And I'm gonna turn that down. It's right here, be right back. Actually, I don't even have to unhook you because it'll reach. There we go. It's creepy alien music and it's not gonna go well with what we're doing. All right. So anyway, so I bring this into Photoshop, do all that fun stuff to it. I tilt it. I always like to tilt the car paintings. It gives it kind of motion without having any motion going on. And yeah. And then I just hold it all down with magnets. I just don't. And again, this is already cut out, so it's kind of attached with a few little tabs just because I didn't cut all the way through in the corners, so that holds it in place until I can remove that. If I wanted to, I could just, move it around from there too, but that is just fine. So I want to make sure I got plenty of magnets on this to hold everything down. That up there is going to be fun. I want to make sure I get that down too. There we go. Okay, good. If you guys have any questions, let them fly. Michael's got to go. All right, Michael, awesome. Yes, thank you. Yeah, definitely. If you're enjoying this or, yeah, please hit that like button. If you know someone who'd be interested in it, even if they're not around right now, feel free to share the video. That would be amazing too. Believe it or not, YouTube loves its algorithm. And if you interact by doing stuff like commenting and sharing and liking and all that, it will let other people know how much fun we're having. Okay. So first thing, so with these, they're really pretty simple. The 543s don't really have a background. They just have kind of like a fade. They're usually light on the bottom and dark on the top. This one is especially going to work that way because the top of this car, the car is white, but the top of the car is really lit up. So I really want that contrast behind it. So I'm going to start with white, and it's just going to be opaque white and black for the whole thing, nothing else. So I'm going to start with white, and I'll do the white on the bottom. The car is tilted, obviously, up this way. So I'm going to do the background kind of this way. No, am I going to do that? No, I'm not. And normally I would, because what that would do is it would kind of pop out the top of the car and also add to the whole look of it. But the whole top of the car is really bright white, so I think I'm just going to go with it and do the bottom part of this as the white part. I am going to curve it though a little bit. So this is going to be a fade from like bright white, and then the darkest black is going to be up here. But I feel like that's not focused, even though I think it is. Here we go. Excuse me, yikes. All right, So yeah, so what I'm going to do is, again, to help that sense of motion, it already has motion because I tilted it, but I'm also going to like curve this fade, so it'll almost be like a little smiley face. And if you've seen me do these fades before, then you're familiar with it. If you're unfamiliar with a fade with an airbrush, it's really easy to do a fade, but I don't do like, I paint this opaque and then just gradually fade away as I go up here. I do the whole thing in the softest color, and then I just keep adding down the bottom until the fade appears. So it's kind of like doing it in reverse, but it gives me a much smoother fade overall than if I just like kind of hammer this and then try to fade it with the airbrush as I go up. This way is a lot more controllable. So I just paint the whole thing, and then when I get it, to one level, then I'll just kind of do down here a little bit more to make it a little bit more bright. And that will create that really soft fade everywhere across the whole thing. Okay, the other thing too, because of the template and everything, make sure that's not gonna slide off there. I don't want the white on the top side of the car at all, because what it'll do is it'll mix a little bit because of the overspray, and it'll get funky around the edges. So the white doesn't go anywhere, above the middle of the car. Ooh, this has no paint in it, which is good. Okay, next up is black for the background, and the black is going to be for behind the car and also for the shadow underneath. Which is why I cut the whole car out, even though there's like, let me show you a picture of this. So if you look at this photo real quick, you see how you can barely make out where the tires are in comparison to the shadow. It's pretty dark under there. I cut out the car anyway as if I could see all the tires. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to lighten that shadow a little bit. It's not going to be as dark. So if it was as dark, if it was like, say it was like in noon, that the picture was taken and that shadow was super crisp and really dark underneath the car, I might include it as the whole part of the tire and everything. So I've done that sometimes. But with this, I want a little bit more subtle. All right. So same thing. For the fade in the back, I'm just going to start in the top corner, but I'm going to evenly spray the black all the way across. So now that I've got one layer on there, I'm going to do the same thing again, but I'm only going to come up to about here, and then the next one's going to be about here, and then the last one will be just the corner. I may have to go over it a few more times, but you get the idea. So this one only comes down about 2/3 of the way. Same, it's exactly the same layer of paint. It's building on the last layer. Dry that off, and then I do the same thing, but maybe go about halfway down. Dry that off. And then finally is just the last one, which is just kind of the edges. And we're good. Easy peasy. I tried to figure out how to make the lives at Premiere, but you can't do that. The Premieres are only for pre-recorded videos, which I love it. I think it's a great idea. It's fairly new from the tubes that's a thing, and I love it because, again, it turns just the static videos into kind of like a whole thing where we can kind of hang out and people can ask questions live. And we can yell and scream at each other. It's great. I love it. All right, shadow on the bottom. So shadow on the bottom, again, I want it kind of a little bit less pronounced than in the photograph, but it's still going to be pretty dark. So just kind of run it right along. A couple weeks ago, Adam had a toy drive, a holiday toy drive at the shop, at his shop, and it was great. I got to hang out with him and a couple other stripers, including Steve Chizeka, So we just kind of hung around and painted and had a blast. So it's right if you're, I know a lot of people who watch this feed are from, you know, the other side of the ocean. But if you're from around Ohio or, you know, anywhere around here, the shop is in Lisbon, which is actually, it's right across the street from the gallery that has my art in it. So it's just, it couldn't be any better. All right, so there's your shadow for the bottom. Easy peasy. Simon Carter. I'm doing good, Simon. What's going on, buddy? Simon can have an adult beverage because Simon is on the correct side of the ocean for that. Although, I mean, it's not like day drinking is a thing over here, so just not for me today. Too much running around after this. Oh, so here's a thing. All these magnets are great. They stick like hell, right? But this paint, this fade is so, I mean, it's not super fragile, but it's fragile enough that if I run my finger along the painted part, it's going to change the sheen of it, possibly damage the paint. So when I'm being careless and yanking these magnets off, it's super easy to have them like snap back down onto a painted part or drag them across a painted part. So if you do get into using these magnets, be more careful than me. Trust me, you'll be happy. You did. All right, so there we go. So that's the background. Nice and neat. Simon is indeed having an adult beverage. Simon, I am jelly. I mean, yeah, I'm jelly that you can, you know, your day is like winding down as far as, you know, work stuff. And you can have an adult bevy. All right, next up is white. So I have 2 templates cut out for white, and the only reason that is because things like the grill, if I tried to cut out all the white bits on the grill, the whole thing would fall out. So I have to kind of divide and conquer here, which is fine because there's a lot going on in this car anyway. Now I am going to put my big fat head in the way because I got to line this up properly. Maybe. And I always do white first because with airbrushing, and not only airbrushing, but just white in general, you can get this really weird blue shift that will make you a sad panda. And we don't want sad pandas. So by doing the white first and then doing the shading on top of that, I don't get any of that blue shift. All right, so for the white, especially on the top of the car, I have it cut all the way down to the front fender, but I'm not going to be coming down that far, so I don't even really have to, I'll throw a magnet on it just for fun, but I really don't have to worry too much about that. There's no other place where that really happens, so, but I figured I'd mention it there because it does pop up. And then the wheel hubs. I definitely don't want any paint getting underneath the car, so I'll put a couple magnets down there. The grill, where it's black in here, if I had a magnet to put in there, I would. The only problem is if I put a magnet there, other than this one, it's going to snap over to one of the other ones. So I'm not even going to mess with it. I'll just use the black to do that. Chris Garcia. Chris, got your order last night, speaking of the ornaments and your other orders. You're amazing, and I can't thank you enough. I'm glad that my stuff is part of your collection. That makes me really, really happy. All right, so I still have white in the brush. So what we're going to do is just kind of fade from the top down where the light is kind of hitting this. Just really the edge of the cutout, and yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to fix that. Damn it, I didn't cut that smooth. I'll show you what it looks like when I pull it off. It's not a big deal, but would have been nice if I just cut it correctly and then it would have been done. But now I gotta fix it. So I'll show you what I mean when I pull this off. So the windscreen, the windscreen on the shoebox is a split window almost. You basically got a seam in the middle of the windshield, which is really nice. And then there's a reflection right here coming off the headlight, so we'll add that too. If you are a Monday Nighter, if you join us on Monday night on Facebook, I have almost all the 543s done, and I am in love with just about all of them. It has been quite the group of suggestions. In addition to those who, if you're not part of Monday night, please come by on Monday. It's a blast. And what I'm going to do is, because Christmas is on a Monday, the 25th is a Monday, I'm not sure whether I'll be doing a feed or not. I probably will because it's going to be real quiet here. But if I don't, what I'm thinking about doing is giving away 2 paintings on the 18th to make up for that, because I really want to make sure everyone gets a chance. So the reason why I bring it up is because I will use the list from this week, this coming Monday, as the pool to pull 2 names on the 18th. I'll make an announcement too, but since I was thinking of it, I figured I'd mention it. All right, so the bumper itself is, the lower part of the bumper here is pretty much all lighter, so I just put a couple fades over that. And the same thing with the top side of the rest of the ornaments, you know, the trim on the front of this car. So this part is just straight up white. That's lovely. Simon, I had some time to paint earlier, but man, I could not get paint to play ball. I think an airbrush spa day is in order, although I had recently soaked the head of the assembly and restore. It was weird. Yeah, Simon, you're nailing it, man. And it's funny, even on days when I think all my stuff is like really clean, like I cleaned it or whatever, it's working well, something, you know, the paint gods get upset and nothing works. I have had those days quite a lot, so. I mean, you guys know how I reduce, you know, all the black and white and stuff. Like, you can't read it, but this is 1:1 or whatever. So I have the same ratios mixed up all the time, and I use a small scale to do it, so it's not like it's just a guess. It's exactly. It's always the same. But you know what? Especially when the weather is goofy and the humidity changes and everything, it's so crazy how the paint will work one day and then it'll be different the next day. And I'm not talking about not working, but when you get into stuff like this where you're like relying on this thing to work exactly the same way every time, you have all these outside variables that can change things, and it can really, well, it can really piss you off. All right, this back window, I want to make sure that the window itself stays down, so I'm going to put a magnet on that, because the highlight on the back of the car is really thin. You'll be able to see this much better when I pull the stencil off, but I'll drop it in and show you what I mean. Okay, so that's that. And the hubs of the wheels, I'm going to favor the tops of these. Move that magnet over a little bit. So I paint the whole thing, but the top of the hub I'm just giving a little bit of extra paint to. And that'll kind of give it that reflective look that it has. Same thing with the back one. Really kind of favor the top of it. There we go. And yeah, we're going to hit the bumper again. Just give it a little bit more something. All right, that's good. That is good. I'm happy with that. So I'll show you what this looks like. It's nice when you start putting the white in. Yeah, Simon, it is definitely not. Yeah, Chris, the blue one is on board. That was by far the biggest. Everyone suggested blue. I think there was one for orange or one for yellow, but everything else was blue. So blue will be next year's. And I am going to make sure this coming year that I'm going to paint them very early. I don't know why. I was so on the ball last year. I had them all done, and this year I'm like, oh yeah, I should do the ornaments, and then it's like December 6th. And I'm like, what happened? I'm not going to be able to get these done, but I did, so we're good. So there's a white. So even now it starts to pull together, and you see how the back, the darker area in the back just kind of helps that whole thing pop off the surface of the paper. So that's white number 1. We're done with that one. Are we done with that one? We shouldn't. You know what? I'm gonna do. I lied to you. This is white number 2. I didn't lie about that. I lied about having all these pre-cut. I am gonna have to make a couple little adjustments. So what I'm doing is the top of this this fender, the fender that's closest to us, has a nice like white kind of line on it. I was going to do that with a paintbrush, but I think I'm going to do that with the airbrush now. So in order to do that, I'm just going to use this white number 2 template, and I'm going to cut that out. But what I do need to do is change this blade out, because I was using it earlier and it was pretty much done. Okay, brandy new blade, which I love so much. All right. New blade day. I love new blades. I wish they lasted forever, but they don't last at all, which is a bummer. So for something like this, this is a great time to replace the blade, because I'll show you what this cut is going to look like when we're done. It's really, really thin. So you can't do this with a dull blade, because it'll just rip the paper. Where when the blade's like real new, you can, like, I mean, that didn't even move the other side. Normally, if you do this with a dull blade, it'll rip and pull it, but that, with a new blade, it just cuts that line, which is awesome. Wish, like I said, I wish it was new blade day every day. Anyway, you can get matching numbers. Chris, you grab the last red one and the green one. Let me look on that, because I think the one you have is, I think the red one you have is 7. I'm gonna have to look on the green ones to see if 7 already went. If it did not, yes. And then going forward, because you are who you are, yes, I didn't want to get into like having people pick numbers, because it gets crazy and people, like, you know, want the same number. But if I can pull it off, Chris, for you, I will. I think it's all going to boil down to whether I still have 7 for the green ones, which I don't think I do. But I'll check as soon as we're done. All right. So there it is. So now this is ready to go. So what this is the top of the grill pieces, the bottom of the white wall, and then also the interior, which is fun. So the interior, well, I'll explain that when I get to it. Sure, get this lined up really well. Again, the better I line this up, the less work I have to do later, fixing things. We like that. All right, perfect. And the same thing with the magnets with this. Now, I'm going to be spraying kind of at it this way and kind of favoring the tops of all these cutouts, except this. So I want to keep the magnets on the side that's farther away from me. And we'll throw a couple in here for now, 2 on these, and maybe 1 on this. That'll work. Okay, good. Okay, white. The top of these chrome bits here on the front. That, and then the top of the fender here. So for the bottom part of this cutout, I can use my fingers to hold it down. Beauties. Okay, so for the white walls, the only reason I cut that out, and you can see the top of it is still kind of hanging on there, this is just to give me a little bit of a highlight on the upper side of the white wall next to the wheel. So this just gives the wheel a little bit of dimension. Yeah, I know it's tough to see, but you'll definitely see it when I pull it off. Like that. Okay, so for the interior, which is fun, the interior, do I have a good picture of it without paint on it? Yeah, I'll use the cutout. So with the interior, you can see the light kind of reflecting off the back deck, the what do you guys call it? The boot, the trunk. Yes, boot's back, right? Boot is back and bonnet's front. anyway, it's reflecting off the back and then lighting up the interior in the back. So I want to kind of have that on there too. So I've got a cutout, but I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to add a little bit of white to kind of give it a feel of that reflection. And then I've cut out the basically where the headliner is, where the seam is, the stitching in the headliner. So this piece is cut out as well. So I'll fold that piece back, get those out of the way. And then I can go right up against the window and do it again. And just this little like detail is going to really add a lot to the inside of the car. Did I get everything? I think I got everything. I think I got everything. There we go. Ta-da! So far so good. The boot is correct. Bonnet at the front. Awesome. Thank you, Simon. I need to brush up on my Queen's car lingo. All right. I should know that because I love Top Gun and I watch it all the time. Or I watched it religiously up until the very end, and then I was like confused because I didn't know the story behind what had happened, which is dumb because everyone knew the story behind all that. But anyway, I love that show. All right. So I think that's all the white. What about the body, Steve? So I didn't have a cutout for the part of the side that's closest to us. I thought the gray would just pull it off. But now looking at this, not a super big fan of it. So I think what I'm going to do I have a cutout like that? No. All right, sorry, I got to cut another one out. I think I'm going to add like a little bit of a white fade from the top of this down. So I'm going to need a cutout for that to keep it clean. Again, I didn't think I was going to need it, but looking at it, it doesn't pop off as much as I would like. So we'll grab another copy here. All right, let's, I'm just going to move this for now. Put this over here. Oops. That way you guys can be part of it. So you do get some cutting after all. All right. It's going to be just a side. So what I'm going to do is essentially it's the opposite of what I just did, and which is too bad because I could have just done this and then got the top of the fender, but it's okay. So again, I'm just looking at the side, so I'm going to leave the headlight where it is. This will be a like a multiple cutout thing too, because I'm going to, well, again, let's get this done and I'll show you the rest of it. So I'll leave the bumper in because there's a lot of black on that. You guys can see where I'm at. Good. I don't really even need to do the bottom of this, but I am gonna anyway, because I'm not gonna come down this far with the white. This is really just for the top half of it, but this kind of, again, I love this, the saying cheap insurance by Chris Arpin. So Chris will always say, you know, if you do something that seems like you're going out of the way a little bit, but it's really going to save a lot of time and aggravation, it's just cheap insurance. And that's exactly what this is. By cutting all the way down to the bottom, if somehow, some way, white overspray gets down here, it's not going to get on to the really dark parts, and I won't have to fix it. I know I won't have to fix it now. All right, so that's the side of the car. The top of the car, might need it too, but we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Again, this isn't going to be like in your face. This just adds a little bit of something on the side of the car to get it away from that just kind of standard gray. Okay. Line this bear up. It goes on that one. That. This is easy to line up because I have the tail light and then the front fender, so everything else is in between. It's going to work. All right, so again, I'm going to kind of concentrate on keeping a nice clean edge there. So this is going to be like a really light fade from the top down. Did I run out of paint? No, it's just clogged up. All right. Actually, I need one more magnet back here. It's moving around a little bit too much. There we go. So again, just kind of concentrating on the top of this thing, the top side of this. And then before I move it, because it's pretty subtle, I'm going to take a look at it, make sure it's okay. Yeah, that's much better. And now I do have to do something with the top of the car. So that's one more cutout, but again, it'll be worth it. There we go. What? Don't do that, Steve. Don't do that. Don't want to put on your car here in New York. Yes, that is true. That's everywhere. Chris, one of my favorite guilty YouTube pleasures is watching people try to drive away with the boots on the car. For those in the UK, I'm sure you have something similar. They call it a boot, and it's basically this steel plate and clamp that the police officers will attach to one of the wheels, like the rear wheel of your car, and it prevents you from driving that car away for a number of different reasons. You're illegally parked, whatever. So there are these videos of these people who decide to just drive anyway, and it literally tears up the whatever is around it, the whole wheel well of the car. It's breathtaking to watch. And then, of course, there's equally as many videos of people who seem to think they know how to take them off without, I don't know. Which, what I'm also finding is 99% of those are not true, Oh, you heat it with a lighter and then it falls off. It's like, no. All right, so I'm just cutting out the A and B pillars here. And what I'm doing is now I can't cut out the windows. I could cut out the windows. Hey, wait a minute. I could. Let's do that. I'm going to cut out the windows because they're big enough. Normally windows aren't big enough, and which means I can't get a magnet to hold them down, but these windows are big, so I'm going to cut out the whole window, which is going to make life easy. So, oh, Chris, as a man of the law, you'll also probably, well, hopefully you don't relate to this. I've been watching a lot of sovereign citizen videos, and that's fun because that rarely ends well for the people who think that they understand the law. So I'm going to save these cutouts. I'm just going to put them up above for now. Yeah, sovereign citizenry is it's both amazingly annoying and also hilarious. It goes right in line with what Scott was talking about yesterday with the flat earthers. Even though parts of sovereign citizenry was a thing back when, but they abuse it so that they can operate motor vehicles without driver's licenses and give policemen a hard time by not giving them their information, and yeah, just all bad. Just all bad. All right, so what I've done here while I'm talking, I cut out the windows and I saved those. So now I just cut out the rest of the pillars. So now I've got just everything ready to go. So that's the roof line of the car. Oh God, sovereign citizens. Hopefully you haven't run into any of those, Chris, although I love that they automatically think they're, I especially love it when they go up against a judge, because to be a judge anywhere, you need a lot. You need to, I'm 99% sure that you have to have your degree in law and all this other fun stuff. So they know what they're talking about. So you have this jackass who rolls in that saw something on YouTube and thinks they know more than the officers that just want their license and registration, or even worse, the judge who has made his living about knowing every bit of the law. They were a lot of fun. So anyway, all right. How do we get on sovereign citizenship? Anyway, let me line this back up. So now what I can do is I can line this template up for the roof. like that. Oops. Put a few magnets on here. And then what I can do, I should have saved that. Did I save it? I did. Man, that was lucky. The cutout that I used for this is a fun trick. So see how inside here, you can't really see where the windows are. I mean, this one you can kind of see the back one, and then this one too a little bit, but the front one, it's like, where does that even go? I saved the piece that I cut them out from. So if I put this back in for now, just kind of drop it right there. Now I can just line up the other magnet parts, or the other window parts, sorry. That's too big. That's too big. I'll put a little one there. And then this one goes here. Oops. This one goes here. A magnet on that. And then last but not least, the rear window. Yeah, my final note on that sovereign citizenship thing. What I'm seeing now is law enforcement officers that are also aware of this phenomenon lately, and now they're very well up on the law and how it pertains to what these people are trying to claim. And it's a lot of fun to watch, because when the officer really knows what these people are trying to say better than they do, it ends poorly even faster, which is what I'm really waiting for, is for them to get handcuffed, screaming and crying that they don't want to be arrested, even though they should be arrested. How can it be judged when they're stupid enough to think the Earth is a sphere? Simon, you're absolutely right. Simon, you're absolutely. You know why, Simon? Because all those judges work for NASA. They're all on NASA's pay. They're all part of it, man. They're all Freemasons. Bastards. That's how that happens. All right. So, God. Anyway, so it's actually the same deal with this part now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top and have a little bit more paint there and just fade it down. And it's going to have a really neat look when it's done. I've done this a bunch when a car is like kind of difficult to make out its different parts because the lighting isn't that great. So I'll do this a lot where I'll just kind of like shift things around to kind of pull other areas out. And I don't have to even look at this because it's going to be okay. Yeah, it's perfect. So now when I pull this, I've got a little bit of, there we go. I've got a little bit of light on that. That works out good. A good friend that is a retired officer, certified lawyer, and now a judge oh, he gives, that's awesome. The looks he gives these people in court is priceless. It blows me away. Really blows me away. I'm like, you cannot be serious right now. All right, so that's all the white. So that's everything. And now the nice part is, as I start to move into the darker colors, you'll see how all that, any of the white I put on there is really going to pop a lot more, because right now we're basing the strength of the white against the gray for the most part. Once I get the dark wheels in and the wheel wells and the rest of the interior, it'll really pop out. So let's get rid of this one, and I don't need this one. So we are on to black. Black is the wheel well. Yeah, I was fortunate to have grown up in my uncle, my mom's brother, was the chief of police in the town I grew up in. So fortunately, he was chief of police after I was older. So yeah, but we still, he was a police officer for while I was a kid, pretty much. So that was encouragement enough not to do too many stupid things. Because, well, it's always nice to know all the policemen in town. It's also not that cool to know all the policemen in town. So All right, so I'm just going to line this up again. I want to make sure this is really well lined up. It's too easy to just, get it close and then blast this thing and then have a whole bunch of regrets after. Brad Mummery, what's up, buddy? Thank you, sir. I've cut bigger guys than me, and you and Steve. Oh, cry. No doubt. Right. Well, see, it's funny because, like I said, I mean, I don't want to make it sound like, I'm some kind of saint, because I'm not. But I don't know. I have a different... those guys have enough to deal with on a daily basis than to have me being a jackass, when I'm driving around or whatever. So that's my take on it. And it's worked out pretty well. It was funny when I first moved here, the license plate in Ohio is great. You only need one plate, which is becoming more and more rare in the U.S. Most states now are requiring 2 plates, front and back. But Ohio is, rear. So I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. I'll take my front plate off finally, or whatever. So I did that. And then, so the bulb that lights up the plate in my car, I didn't even know it, but had burned out. So I stopped. I was on my way somewhere, actually pick up Marge's daughter. And all of a sudden, there are the blues behind me. And I'm like, okay, I know I didn't do anything wrong, really. So he pulls me over. He goes, yeah, your the bulb is out on the back of your plate, and you can't drive a car like that. I'm like, oh, that sucks. I didn't even know that, or whatever. So he took my license, and he went back to the car, and he comes back, and he goes, yeah, you don't even have an accident, like, on record. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, you can go. And I'm like, thanks. He goes, get that fixed. I'm like, I will. Plus, and again, I don't want to make that sound like I'm like, I'm like just a whatever, that I'm goody two shoes or whatever. Number one thing is I hate insurance companies, and I think it's legalized extortion. So I'm not going to give them any chance to take more money from me, and that includes, getting in an accident. So there you go. Oh, what was the pearl white paint used the other day again? Wicked. The pearl white on the ornaments was my favorite, which I just reordered this because you can see with all the ornaments I've burned through a lot of this. It's the Wicked Metallic Platinum. If you're familiar with those, the Lexus color, it's a lot like that. So it's a pearl white, but it has a kind of a gold cast to it depending on the angle. It's just a great color. So it's 0352. Just Wicked Platinum. Yep, I just put an order in for Coast. So, oh, Brad's on. I'll show Brad. So Brad, you know Patrick, cheese grits and NyQuil. So check this out. Check what he did for me. This is what Pat does in his free time, other than being awesome and painting and cooking. And so the challenge is the insert here has something to do with me. So when he asked me what I wanted, I said, just do, whatever. So this has something, and there's little copper bits in there, and there's red glass and like a rainbow glass, and the background part of it looks sand color. So I don't know. So anyway, there is an envelope here that has a spoiler that says what this is, but I'm not opening the envelope until I post this and have people guess. So if you want to take a stab at it. It's beautiful. I really want to wear it now, but I can't because I will screw it up. Oh, Jeebus, that's insane. Not for nothing. All right, so there's the ring in the box, right? It's got a little light in there. What the hell? That's awesome. A light for it. Oh my gosh. Cheese grits. I'm going to have some cheese grits and NyQuil now. It's awesome. Travis. What's up, buddy? All right, so the black's lined up. And again, I did the same thing when I cut out this. I saved the white wall and the hub because I knew I'd just be able to drop a big old magnet on that. So I think I've got everything lined up, ready to go. So we are going to do some black. So now for this is the first one is black. So it's the most strength, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the 1:1, so it's the thicker of the reduced blacks, I guess is the only way to say it. And through this brush, it almost doesn't atomize. So, which is perfect, because what it does is it puts down, you know, just really a dense black pretty quick. And that's exactly what I'm looking for here, except on that light, which I didn't want to do, but I'll fix that after. So I've also on this template, I should have showed it to you before I put it down. I'll show it to you, well, it won't matter when I pull it up because you'll be able to see it. But I've also cut out a lot of the body lines on this too. And I've showed you guys that trick before where, like on the door right here, I just made a slice down that, down the door seam. So now when I spray it, it'll put the seam in for me. What did I miss? Speaking of Coast Airbrush, I haven't heard or seen anything from them or Dave. Probably busy moving. Just a weird single post. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with whatever happened a while ago. I sent Dave a message, and you know, I'm a big fan of giving people their space. So I placed my order yesterday and it went out yesterday. So I don't know, everything's going normal as far as that goes. But yeah, it could be the move, could be, I don't know what it could be. So yeah, it's fine. Is it fine though? Yeah, it's fine. So again, the wheels, the undercarriage a little bit is cut out of this. Bottom sill of the door. A little bit on the back. This template here is pretty much exactly that. It's just a template. There's no, like, in this one, there's not a lot of, like, you know, getting into the openings and spraying certain areas. It's just, you know, you just hose it down. I'd say that, but you know you don't. You know, you build it up slow. Yeah, Simon, I don't know. I don't know what's going on over there. Like I said, everything seems to be running fine, and I know, like, there was that weird exchange for a little bit, but, and then, you know, I don't know what's going on. But whatever it is, you know, they've got my best. So, all right. I'm going to leave the wheel for the last one, so we'll pull this out and see what we got. I am happy. I'm very happy, because I always hold my breath when I do that, because, you know, if it's not quite lined up, that's when you're going to see it. It isn't. It's a little bit low, but that's definitely doable. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay. So that is that one. I shouldn't put them here because I've already used those. So use that one, use that one, use that one. Need this one and this one. So we're down to only 2 more templates, which is good. That means we're almost ready to do some hand painting, and that's the end of it. All right, so this one's just labeled as gray. So it's the interior, the bits of the wheels. It should have been the bottom of the, well, no, I see what I did. Okay. So it's mostly the wheel. So now this is gray. So this, I'm not going to use that same black because it's just going to bury everything. So I'm going to line this up first. There we go. Lovely. All right, line that up first, throw a couple magnets on it, and then I'm going to clean out the brush real quick, and I'm going to put, they have 1:1, 1 part paint to 1 part 4011. I'm going to switch to the 1:10, which is, again, 1 part paint to 10 parts reducer. So it's that reduction for this brush, the Micron, I'll use, that's one of the ones I use the most, 1:10. It's a nice balance of being able to cover with this brush, but also, you know, you get some really nice fades too. Again, I can't stress it enough. This is what works with the Micron. If you put 1:10 through like a, you know, a bigger brush, it's just going to flood out. It's not going to, you're not going to have as much control. I would say even the same thing with, since I was watching Tim last night, the same thing. I mean, Tim makes the inks work amazing through this. But what I find with the Createx is, or the Wicked, I'll use a little bit thicker version of, instead of 1 to 10, maybe I'll use 1 to 5 with this. This brush has a bigger, even though the needle is, longer taper, it's got a bigger opening in it. It's a 0.3 millimeter nozzle. So with that kind of opening, if you really pull it back, you can really get into a lot of trouble. So by thickening up the paint, it slows that paint from coming out as well. So for something like this, I would use probably 1 to 5, or even 1 to 1, and I'd get the same level of detail. So again, I can't stress it enough. You reduce always for the brush and the job you want to do, but brush first. Like I said, if I had an Eclipse CS with a 0.35, I wouldn't use anything thinner than 1 to 1. Even that's too thin, because it's just designed to move a whole bunch of paint. I should have put a copy of this out so I can see what I'm doing, huh? La 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 la. Here we go. I only have one more 543 to paint. I've done 4 already. I spent part of yesterday and then this morning working on them. So they are almost done, which is good. Usually I do them on Friday, so I'm ahead of schedule here, which is great. Yeah, it's a solid brush. I mean, the best thing Badger ever did was come out with the Patriot, both of them. The 105 I like a lot, and the the Extreme. Wait, that's what I'm talking about. The Patriot and the Arrow. Those were the two I'm talking about. I was thinking the Patriot was the name of the whole line, but it's not. So they're essentially the identical brushes. It's just the Patriot has a bigger cup on it, which is the one I was using all the time. And then I got this one. So yeah, it's like I said, it's the best thing they could have done. It just works so well, compared to some of the bigger, fatter brushes that they have. All right. So this is gray. Okay then. Did I put it in there? Yeah, I did. So gray is just what it sounds like. But this I start to kind of get into not just hosing it down, but to getting more towards using the template as that drawing guide. So for instance, on the wheel here, the hub, I'm going to put a lot of dark on the top, a lot of value on the top, and then fade it away as it goes down the bottom. The interior is the same deal. Like in the front part of the interior, it's pretty much gray. But the back part here, I'm going to favor where the driver is sitting, basically. And then just kind of let that fade towards the back where I did those highlights. And that'll help to kind of pull all that together. Is that everything? I said, is that everything? I should have done that too. Oh well, figure it out. So that is that one. I only got one more template and then we can start hand painting and we'll be in good shape. Yes, lovely. Okay. So so this is the reverse of what really. It's the reverse of what I did to get the white in. And I couldn't use it because I needed the top of it for the white. But for the black, it's just for that bottom edge. So we're going to line this up. These are well, actually, we're going to have to put magnets down here, really, because it's dark down there anyway. So it's just for this bottom sill here. You notice there's no magnets up here, because if I get up in here, I'm doing something really wrong. Okay, good. No, there's none up there. I was going to say maybe there too. I may have to do one more little cutout where the body is really in shadow underneath that bumper right there. Or maybe I could wing it. Could I wing it? Yeah, what the hell. What could go wrong? I just need to gray this out a little bit. Good, okay. So that's it. That's for the, well, it's not it, but that's it for the cutouts. So everything's in, everything's blocked in. I feel good about everything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of fix the issues that kind of pop up, like where the wheels, I didn't cut them out the same way, so there's that gap. So this is where I do stuff like that. And it's nice because, again, it's the same exact black. So if I just keep working at this little weird edge, I didn't mean to do that. That sucked, but that's okay. If I just keep working at this edge, it'll eventually just disappear because they're the same blacks. They're just slightly different value. What I was cursing a second ago was it's spider webbed onto the white wall. But it's spider webbed and light enough that I think I can erase it. So it's spider webbed again because, you know, when I'm impatient and try to get too much paint on at once, it'll just kind of blast out and do that. Lovely. That's good. Same thing in the back wheel, how it's just going to get that weird gap in it between the tire and the ground. Do the same thing there. This is another good reason to not necessarily make the shadow as dark as it ultimately needs to be, because if, I mean, I can make this shadow as dark as I want, but say I didn't want it to get too dark. I knew I'd have to do this repair anyway, so by kind of putting less on that shadow than I need, when I go to do this part, then I can darken the shadow down to exactly where I need it. Again, in this instance, it doesn't really matter. I could go as dark as I want. But in case you were trying to make it work, that's the way to make it work. Exactly, Chris. There's a woman with a car just like that in the town next to me. Brad, that's awesome. Yeah, it's just such a nice, it's just everything about it is nice. It's so simple, but yet classy. And like I said, I could just picture the dude grabbing his mailbox, his lunchbox, and going in and getting to work, and, you know, just cool. Love it. All right, so I think that's good. This gap underneath here, there are actually side pipes on this car, so that's what that gap is there. So I don't have to worry about that. I just want to make sure I'm good before I put the airbrush down for a minute, and I am. There is some cleanup on this. I'm going to move you guys closer because we'll start with the front end of this. I'm going to keep going, so if you guys are into it and want to hang out, I would love that. But I got to get this done anyway today, so I'm just going to keep working on it till it's done. So might be a little bit longer feed than normal, but like I said, if you're into it, great. So what I did was I'll lighten this up a little bit. You guys are a little bit more of an angle, so the back of the car is going to be out of focus, but we're doing the details now, so I'll move the image into focus as we do different areas of it. I think that's the best way to do it. There he is. I did. And so here's what I did, Mr. NyQuil, Mr. Patrick. So I did not open the spoiler. I was this way. I was leaving it up to the peanut gallery to decide or try to figure out what the inset is on this. I don't know yet. I have my guesses, but I'm gonna let people. The people have been putting it in the chat, and then I think I'm gonna make a post and see what people think. But dude, this is absolutely stunning. What a beautiful piece. Now you guys, I'm glad I moved the camera closer because now you can really see it. So yeah, it is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and it fits absolutely perfectly too, Patrick. Oh, Simon, that's an excellent. I know, well, I don't know what color they are. I do know what some of them are, but I don't know what all of them are. That's funny. Yeah, that'd be a good one. That's a good guess. And I just, oh, that was my head. All right. The other thing I got to do is I got to ground this tire a little bit more too. In real life, it doesn't look like it's floating, but it really looks like it's floating. Did you light it up as that? Oh, see, that's why we need you. That is what this is. Did I light it up? What the hecko? I'm going to have to, all right, let me refocus you guys. Hold it. Hold up. Come on. Oh, you push. You push? Yeah, you push. Shut up, dude. What is this? So I'm going to guarantee when... Yes. Oh my gosh. Can you see that? Can you guys see that? Hold on. Oh, I have too many lights on. Oh, that's insane. Let me see if I can do it again. I'll try to get it so that so you guys can see it. There's a billion lights on here, and I don't think you'll be able to see it, but it glows. It glows red. Can you see it in there? Stop. I'm gonna try. Well, let's see if I can get to try that spot right there. What is this sorcery? Yeah, you can see that under there. Maybe you can't. Oh, you can. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Stop. I am the cool kid on the block. Holy crap, dude. Now I have no idea what it is. Oh, dude, that's insane. Ha! All right, I have to take it off, though. I can't paint with it on. Put the light with it. Oh my gosh. That makes sense, my precious. Yeah, no, that's insane, dude. I just thought when I saw it, I'm like, oh, the red flecks in it. That's really awesome. No way. God. Dude, that's insane. And makes me like I want to make like I made my knife handle. I so want to get like a small pen lathe, and I've talked to Sean at London Pen too. So, because I would love to make more knife blades and pens, but the lathe that Patrick uses to make rings and Dave Goldfarb uses for all his machining is a whole different animal. Oh, that's awesome, dude. All right. Oh, there's a spider web. That's gone. That's good. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna I'm gonna wait. Maybe I'm gonna post something, but I'll just get the lighting better, or less, a lot less, so that people can see it lit up, and then I'll look. The white background is magic, and we secret inlay. Oh, okay. Inlay is, oh, okay, good. Okay, good. I can't wait. This is awesome. You know me too well. With this thing now, so what I'm going to do is for the paintbrush detail, I'm just going to go left to right. I'll start with the front of the car and just kind of go do that. So let's do that so you can see what's going on there. Put this here. Make sure that's focused. Do you see tiny spells in there? I think that's, yeah, part of it. And I need more water in the wet palette because it's drying out. We are been pretty dry here, so it's so funny in the summertime. You know, I'll put water in this maybe like, you know, every other day maybe. In the wintertime, it's usually like twice or 3 times a day. And this is for those who are using the wet palette. I just use distilled water for that. The water here is in where we are is horrible. It's got all kinds of minerals and natural oil in it, natural gas, I mean. So I don't want that stuff going through the paint. All right, so let's start with black. Yeah, black? No, I want to start with white. I wish it was that good. That's awesome. Yeah, it's insane. That to say that made my day is a gross understatement. It was so hard. It came yesterday, and I didn't know. I knew when it was supposed to get here because I got a message from Pat, and then it didn't show up. But I mean that's normal for around here. So things take longer to get here or whatever. But then when it did show up yesterday, I'm like, I so want to open this, but I'm not. I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna open it live because it deserves that kind of thing, and I'm super glad I did. It's awesome. Marge is gonna be totally jelly. I love it. All right, so with these, again, I'm going to spend a little bit extra time on this one because it's a commission, essentially, which is what I do. So when you go on the site, you'll notice the 543 commission, and the commission option is at full price. So when you buy a 543, you're actually buying it at a discount. Right now, you're buying a stupid discount because of the sale that's going on, but I discount all of the 543s as if you're a gallery buying them. And I do that because we have a lot of fun on Monday nights. It's your suggestion that inspires them and all that fun stuff. So that's why I discount all the ones I do for the feed. But if you want one for yourself, they're the regular price. But what I do with those, I generally spend more time on those than I would if it was just a 543 for the week. So that's kind of where we're at with this one here. All right, so just kind of, I've already done the white. I missed on that. That line is in the wrong spot, so we'll erase that. Everything else looks pretty good. Definitely simplify it. There's a lot of tree reflections or something in the front of this. It just doesn't do much for the story. So I'm going to simplify all these reflections here, and there won't really be anything in the top side of it. Again, on a bigger, more involved painting, or a painting that takes a lot longer to do, I might leave them in depending on what the story of the painting is. In an instance like this, because I have such a plain background, I would probably take them out. It's generally how it goes. Love that dirty water. Yeah, no kidding. Patrick is from my homeland. Actually, so is Bobby Silva too. Bobby's on. I'm looking forward to getting home. I'm supposed to take off a week. Oh, shoot. I should mention that now. So I'm going to be heading, excuse me, I'm going to be heading back to New England for our Christmas party and my daughter's birthday, and that's December 14th, which is a Thursday, the day I'll be driving, which is normal for me. I usually try to get out on Thursday because it gives me kind of a long weekend scenario, but it's going to affect that feed, and I will let everyone know. But that week of the 14th, there won't be a YouTube feed. Am I in the right? Yeah, you guys can see what I'm doing, right? Okay, good. I'm glad you guys were here. I would have forgot. Yeah, it is definitely dry in here. I can tell because the paintbrush like seizes up almost right away. Yeah, it's going to be nice to to shoot home. I'm not going to be home for Christmas. I'm going to actually be home the week before, which is, again, we have make sure all the timing works out here. So originally we were going to head up to Wisconsin for Christmas. So I made my plans to head to Massachusetts for the Christmas party, my family party, which is always the week before. And like I said, it's also my daughter's birthday. So it worked out really good. And then as a result of some other things, we're not going to Wisconsin. So I'm still heading back. Simon, no. There'll be a feed. What's today? Today's 7th? Yes. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm leaving a week from today. So no feed next Thursday. But I should be back the following. Yeah, I should be back the following Thursday. The Monday feed is still on. That's actually, Monday is my daughter's birthday, so I have to do something fun with that. And then also, like I had mentioned before, Monday the 18th, I'm gonna give away 2 paintings because I'm not 100% sure that I'll be doing a feed on Christmas Day, which is the 25th. So to make sure that we give away the right amount of paintings for the year, I'm gonna give 2 away on the 18th. And also that'll make sure we give some people a chance to win if they haven't won yet, because January 1st, that list resets, which is fun. Okay, so back in the beginning of this feed, I gotta get rid of these magnets because I can't turn this. I mentioned that I cut out the hood wrong. I cut out the bonnet wrong. Not wrong, but it's not smooth. So it looks like it has a big dent here in the front of the car. So I'm gonna fix that. It's pretty easy because that's white anyway. Just grab some paint and just smooth this out. Now with a repair like this, so the white doesn't really want to cover really well in the first pass, so it's interesting that the paintbrush repairs are very similar to the airbrush repairs. It's not always, for me, it's not always just hit it once and then it's fixed. You have to go over it a few times. What else we got? Patrick's getting back to work. Oh, awesome, man. Thank you again. That's amazing. Thank you, thank you. So insanely cool. So it takes about 2 or 3 passes, and the nice thing about it is that even if I go lighter than what I airbrushed, it now matches the other fender. Now the other fender, you see, is a weird a weird gray gap there. So we're going to fix that too. And same thing, I'm just going to kind of fill that in, but I'm going to do it real slow. There's no need to have to like nail it in one shot. So that way it gives me a lot more control over that. Both the application, how intense that white gets, but also where I'm putting it too. If I have to, you watch those stripers do it. They put down a line that's perfect and exactly straight or exactly where they want. This way, I don't have to do that. I don't have to get it perfect in one shot. Just kind of go over it, and when it's right, it's right. Hopefully you saw that. It was on the screen. I know you guys are mega close right now. All right, I'm good with that. That seems okay. Some of those, a couple of them. The wheels need another hit. And also, as a side note, if you are grabbing something from the site, we are quickly moving up on the point of no return as far as getting it to you by the holidays. So everything really needs to get out by this week. the end of this week to get there on time. And that's from the post office. That's what the post office had mentioned to me. Unfortunately, all bets are off on international, as they are usually all bets are off all the time with international. Like I can ship it, but I had a package go to England that literally sat in the London like central hub for 4 weeks. There was no problem with it. It just sat there. Eventually got to where it was supposed to go, but it was bad. Yes, Chris, I saw that. That's awesome. We raise good kids. What can I say? All right, I'm good with the white there. So let's see the rest of it. I think there's only a few more spots where there is white. And then I can switch to the darker color, like the blacks and the grays. So, too chunky. Yeah, so my goal is I gotta get over to the gallery tomorrow, and like I said, Adam is pretty much right next door. He's on the other side of the town square, so I'm gonna have this done for him so I can just drop this off. The bumper too has its highlights on it. It's just habit for me to put the highlights, the white first before the dark, and that's just from the airbrushing part of it. But you could do, at this stage, you could pretty much do either. You could do all the dark details and then drop the white highlights in. It doesn't overly matter unless the white has anything to do with, like a fade, and then that's a problem, because you'll get that same blue shift. So, oh, he took the door handles off too. This is such a clean car. Holy roly. All right, so the pipes are really subtle on the side of this. You can just barely make them out. So I'm gonna keep them as subtle. Was I off the camera? I hope I wasn't off the camera for that. You guys can yell at me. I am working on my swag for everyone too. If you're interested in what could go wrong t-shirts or voodoo beer and hostess cupcakes, that's all coming too. Good. All right, so that's all I'm doing with the side pipes. Just a little bit of something. Brad, have a good one, buddy. Oh, Brad, that sounds like a great idea. All right, that's good. So just jump back to the black and finish up the black. And yeah, we're actually burning on this. This is looking really good. I lost a lot of that white in there on the side wall, though. I may have to touch that up. We'll see, though. Still got no palette cam. Good. I'm really going to make sure that I check the camera, because you guys are really, really close. So it's easy for me to move the camera and then have you guys be somewhere in Narnia. The black also, this is probably another reason why I've gotten used to putting the white on first. The white, just as in the airbrush, the white in the paintbrush doesn't really flow as well. It's thick, it's heavy, it just clumps up and dries fast and all that fun stuff. So it's easier to make repairs with the black than it is to make repairs with the white. So I can, like I did with these little white lines here, I was able to just kind of go in between them with the black and straighten them out and turn them into what they should be. Gary Shees, what's up, buddy? Gary, your tin and Tony D's tin are going out today. So the clear is finally to the point where I am happy with it. I like to really let that have enough time to cure before I ship them, because of the change in weather and all that fun stuff as it moves across. I mean, you're only in PA, so it's not as bad, but I still didn't want to take a chance. So now it's had a few days to really cure up, and I'll be getting that out today, including your Angel of Death. Yeah, so all the little reflections that are going on in the, nose ornament here, I'm not putting any of them in, because all it does is just take away from the whole story. There's not enough, there's not enough room there to really make that make sense. However, if I had like in the photograph, there are trees in the background. If the trees are in the background of this little painting, then yeah, I would put the reflections in. But they don't make any sense for the way I have it kind of laid out. And Gary, yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that to you so that you can check it out. All right, so let's start working on the wheel. The wheel is deceivingly, complex. There's a lot going on in this. So Tony D, speaking of UK, Tony D is the guy who got the other tin. And again, after my whole story about the painting that I sent to the UK that just sat in the post for 4 weeks, I'm super holding my breath that Tony's gets there safe and sound. I normally don't ever have a problem with international, and trust me, I've sent some stuff to some pretty out there places, and it's been no problem. But it was, like I said, it was just that one. And the person getting this actually lived in London. It's not like, some tiny town somewhere, wherever. I have no idea what happened with that painting. But again, it's safe. It's there. Yeah, so all right, you guys are here. I put water in this wet palette, right? It needs more water. It is really dry here. And honestly, you know what? That's kind of okay, because when it's super wet here, it's really wet because, we live where we live, but it's pretty dry right now. Now the repairs that I did, like when I said I can repair the white with the black, I can do the same thing with the white. Repair the black with the white, I mean. Like in here, like I just kind of sketched in the side of this hub, but it didn't really, well, I could fix it, but it didn't come out super smooth, especially up here too. It's got some issues. So I can kind of keep going back and forth until, everything's pretty much right where it needs to be. And this works not only with black and white, it works with color. It's just with color you have to use the two base colors that are making everything up. So you just keep fighting back and forth between those base colors, and once you get everything kind of in the right spot, then you can go and add whatever last details, and those are different colors, or that's really how that works. So I do it the same way with everything. That's looking lovely. Yeah, so I'll get all these little black details in. There's a ton of these little lines, but see, like that one, I just kind of flared it out right there, and that's not quite where it is. What I really should be doing to make this work is turning the painting as I'm doing all this stuff, because my hand works in one direction but doesn't really work so great in like some other angles. So by being lazy and not moving the painting, I'm going to have some lines that look great from one, as I'm doing them from one side, but then get all screwed up or as I try to, do them without moving the painting. But as far as it goes with the feed, it's easier to leave the painting where it is and just kind of, deal with it. But yeah, normally I'd be like rotating the painting all over the place to get, to get it right. So for fixing that, I'll just grab a little bit of white. So a little bit of white and then the same thing. So I'll just like kind of hit that little thing. I just did it the other way. So I got to fix it again, but you get the idea. And that's what these paintings are. I keep saying it. It's just a back and forth of, oh, that got messed up, fix that. Oh, then that got messed up, fix that. And then I know when it's done, when I've fixed the last thing, or, within reason. I mean, you can literally pick these things to death for the rest of time if you really want to, but I do not. Joe Vincent sent me three panels that were lost by UPS. Oh, that, I'm going to knock on wood. I've never had a painting go missing like that. That sucks. Because that's great. Gary, because you appreciate the artwork. So it's not just about, oh, here's your money back, after we file a claim. I mean, that's an amazing piece of artwork that's gone now, That's what really sucks. All right, we should be good on the focus. Make sure. I am super, super crazy fortunate to have a Joe Vincent panel. In fact, I really owe, the idea was when Joe was here for the American Stripes show, which was the pinstriping show at the Butler that all those guys were in. We'd gone back to Chiseika's shop after one night, and it was a big panel jam, and everyone was doing their thing. And, Joe and I were talking, and we were going to kind of work together on a panel. So he laid out this little area on it, and then I painted this skull, like this cow skull, bull, like a steer bull skull type of thing. And then he was going to, put striping on it, and that was going to be his panel, and then he was going to do one for me. So he sent me this panel. Instead of doing that, he just sent me a painted panel that he did, and it's crazy good. Like, I feel super bad. Like I totally need to do a painting for him. Like, I totally won that. Plus, Gary, you're obviously his friend. You've been keeping up with him. Oh yeah. It doesn't matter, right, Gary? If it was your 100th from him, they all should be in good shape. Joe Vincent is freaking jacked now. He's like all like crazy bodybuilder dude. I didn't even recognize him. And he's roughly my age. I think he's younger than I am. Still. Like I never looked anywhere near that. Yeah, he's doing great. I'm really happy. And I'm also happy that I know he kind of took a step back from custom painting because, he had a lot going on and he was trying to, do some other stuff. But it's so good to see that, he's still doing it. You can't get that out of him. He's an amazingly talented human being. I don't know, it just seemed like he was answering a lot of questions for, a lot of companies that they weren't really taking care of him, I guess, it seemed to me. I could be wrong. But, yeah. All right, so that's the back wheel. I'm going to do the pipes on the side, and then we can work on the interior, and then, I got to do the headlight too, but this is almost done. Yeah, exactly, Gary. I mean, I feel so as I'm sitting there eating ice cream, looking at him, getting ready for his next, bodybuilding, I don't know what they call it, a meet or whatever. I'm like, oh man, maybe I'll just go for a walk or something, anything. Yeah, it's just, just amazing, dude. He is an amazing, amazing dude. All right, let's get these side pipes in, and I can do the body lines, and doing good. What do we got here? Is it really? Huh. Okay, so I've got 3 here. Get those in there. That makes me happy. All right, let me do before I forget, let me finish the front, because I kind of skipped by the front of this. Usually with this stage, I try to finish everything, before I move on, because it gets, if not, it just gets, I don't know. There's a good chance that I'll forget something if I just, kind of bounce around at this stage. So I like to just kind of finish it. Oh my gosh, it's the king of all brushes. These watercolor brushes are amazing. All right. This one here. I'm putting this off, but I know I got to do it. So there are the perpendicular lines that go across the whole grill. These are never fun. Never. This is like spoked wheels. Like, yeah, it seems like, oh, that's really cool. You paint spoked wheels and everything, but spoked wheels take forever. Like on that Harley painting, the spokes on that just, I think there were like 2 episodes, 3 episodes for that. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Okay. It's like painting hands, yeah. Yeah, just and what's funny is too with that kind of stuff. Hold on, let me just get this first one in. So with that kind of stuff, hands and feet, people look at immediately and know if they're wrong or not. And you don't even have to be an artist. And I talk about this a lot, especially with like the wheels, the wheels on the tires. People don't have to be an artist to know that that's not round, And it's like, oh, it's so much effort to make something that's seemingly simple. Now, hands and feet are not seemingly simple, but wheels are. You think, they're just circles. They're not. They're like concentric circles that also have perspective and foreshortening all at the same time. Have fun with that. So. Yeah, I have to call a cleanup crew on this one, but that's okay too. Like if this was a full blast painting, this thing right here that I'm working on now, that's easy an hour. Easy. Probably more like an hour and a half to 2. Because it's constant, just like we were talking about, it's back and forth and just keep going until it's right. Now I'm not going to do that with this because it's not that kind of painting, but that is, like I said, I keep putting it out there that's the difference between a painting that I'll spend all the time on and then something that maybe is, not quite that. That's where the time comes. It is as Gerald loves to say, it's in the details, it is really, that's where all the time comes from. And it's what I live for, really. I mean, I love the more minutia there is in it on a big, fat, crazy painting. That's the fun part. The most fun is when it's an area that's like glossed over by the viewer. Like the viewer just kind of accepts what they're seeing and not really, you know, they don't understand how much time it really took to get that to look the way it should, then I really feel like I win. You know, if someone says, "Oh wow, that, you know, that wire wheel must have taken you a long time," it's like, well, yeah, it did, thanks. And you know, it shouldn't look like it took a long time. It should just be what it's going to be. Honestly though, that thing in the front, that bumper in the front, that went way better than it usually does. Because even now, I mean, it seems pretty good. It seems like it's pretty close. Where, you know, like I said, usually it's a tractor pull. It's like, oh, you know, you do one line and then you screw up something else, and it's just back and forth all the time. Feel pretty good about that. Astral. Well, that's the other thing, Astral. Yeah, you know what would have been really nice if I had just taken the pen. Where's my Micron? My other Microns. Yeah, here. No, Sharpie. Where'd my Micron go? Here it is. So if I had just taken the Micron pen, this thing right here, I have like, you know, all different sizes. I could have just drawn those lines in too. But for me, my drawing hand is the same as my painting hand. So if I drew those lines in with the Micron, they would be as shaky as the paintbrush. Maybe more so because the paintbrush has a little bit of spring to it. So I don't know. I don't know what's better. Paul Lyons, what's up, buddy? Gary, have a good one, buddy. All right. Feeling good about that. That's done. That's done. So now that whole front end is pretty much done. So now I can start working on the interior. What I am going to do, though, this had a little bit of overspray on this body line, which makes it look like there, since it, as I put water on there, I don't want that either. So what it looks like is that there's like a little bit of a shadow on that, which again makes it look like the car got damaged, and we don't want that. So let's grab an eraser here. So the eraser, it's got a pretty good point on it right now. So what I can do is I can just kind of back up to that line, and this overspray that's kind of on there is really, really thin. So it won't take much to kind of get rid of it. That's much better. What else do I want to do here? I'll do the rest of the door then, since I'm in the area. Let's do, is there a line on that too? Yeah, there is. So actually we'll do above the pipes first. Good. And yes, I was holding my breath. Bottom sill here. Almost took too long as the paint was drying on that. That's fine though, that's gonna work. Okay, so that's good. So we just left with the, oh, the headlight. I'm gonna do the headlight before I move on to the interior. Headlight's just got a little bit of detail in it. Such a pretty car. Did such a good job on this. I didn't get much of a chance to talk to him about it. He didn't have it when I was there. So I'm really now, like, I can't wait to talk to him about it. Like, I want to know what condition he got it in, how much work he did to it, what he did to it. It's just there's a lot going on with this car, which is nice. Before I do the interior, I'm going to kind of correct these wheels. Remember, I got a little bit of overspray on that, and then it's spidered. Well, when I erased it, I took out the white that I put on there originally. So it's not a big deal. I still have the template and everything. I just got to pull it up. So this is the template from a while ago. That's the white wall template. So just line that up. Yeah, now once I put the template on it, I can really see the overspray and the spider webbing. So we'll do both of them. There we go. And I still have white in the brush. So when I'm doing the 543s, I just leave the brushes set up. So there's always one with white and one with black. So I can bounce back and forth pretty easily. Much better. I can tell right off the bat. Much better. Okay, so that's that. I may have to clean that up, but I may not have to. Oops. Yeah, that's much better. Excellent. Okay, so now the interior, or, you know, the top half of the car. Cheers to that. All right. Okay, there you go. So windshield first. Yeah, son of a gun. This thing needs more water. So to balance with this wet palette, you know, you can't flood it. You don't want the parchment to be floating in water. So it's just that really like just on the edge of total saturation for the pad underneath. But then once it starts drying out, you know, you can tell because the paint starts to dry out as well on the palette. It doesn't do its job anymore. And like I said, in the wintertime, it's quite a back and forth, trying to keep that at the right level of, you know, saturation, I guess. Windshield wipers are good there. The interior, I don't want to do that because I forgot to spray that. I'll deal with that in a second. So the black is also pretty thin, which sometimes requires, you know, multiple passes as well. But again, at this stage of the game, you're dealing with like really tiny details, so it's okay. You know, again, to hope that you can put it down in one shot is great, but it rarely happens. Usually it's multiple passes. Lovely. And I'm doing all the strokes that go this way, and then I am going to turn the painting because, again, my hand works better in one direction. So we're going to favor that direction as much as possible, especially with these longer, you know, thinner lines. You don't want to have to fight them. It's also a good idea, too, that I learned from the stripers. You kind of do the line first before you actually put it down so you can see where your hand is going to start and stop. Because sometimes, you know, like I'll start in a spot where it's comfortable, but then as I extend my finger, it becomes less comfortable. So it's almost better to start it out a little bit less comfortable and move into comfortable. So that way, when you start the line, it's easy to get that smoother as you go around. You're not fighting it as you get to the end of it. So that is 100% a trick that I learned from pinstripers. You know, look to where your line is going to end and see, you know, how your hand is. Make sure you're not jammed up. Makes a big difference. All right, that's good. The rest of the door seam here. Oh, that's beautiful. It goes all the way down. Nice. You guys might be off. I mean, I might be off the camera now. No, I'm not. Okay, good. Okay. Moving right along. Like right there. So that was, when I started that stroke, my hand was in a comfortable position. By the time I got to the end, I was all jammed up. So what that does is it then halfway through the line, the line starts getting shaky, you know, because I'm forcing it through that line. Where if I set it up beforehand, I wouldn't have had that problem. All right, so the other thing I got to do is there's the rubber gasket on the inside of the passenger window. You can see through the mirror or the window, the windscreen. So I'm going to really reduce this Createx out so it's really thin. And that'll give me more of a gray line. And that works out very well. Lovely. Yep. Oh, and then it actually, you can see the back window here too. There we go. Excellent. Okay, the back window. Yeah, I'll do the back window. Good. That was a little bit too much. But that's okay. And then, oh, the rear window has a gasket around it too. So we'll get that in too. That's pretty much black, so. Good. So the uprights on the pillar. Yeah, there's nothing on this car. No mirrors, no door handles. Love it. Oh, I should have done the bottom when I was in this area. That's it, Simon. Yeah, it is really, you know, it's fun. And it's great when you kind of get comfortable with an order, you know, that you do things, then all of a sudden, you know, there's less, you know, I joke all the time about what could go wrong. There's a lot less what could go wrong if you have like a certain kind of way to attack it all the time. Since I got the painting in this area, see how that dips down right there? That needs to be fixed. So that, fortunately, again, that area right there is really bright white. So I can just use the white to kind of straighten that back out again. Right here. Yeah, that kind of flared out a little bit. Oops. Put that on too heavy too. All right, that's okay though. Okay, back to the pillars. So these pillars right here. Okay. Here we go. All right, good. And then this inside of the window. As the brush dries out right at the end, you bastard. Oh well. Thought I could get the end of that, but couldn't. There we go, that's better. And then we're gonna get this. Lovely. What am I missing? Got that. I got that. That's good. Yeah, I think I'm there. I think I'm done. So the other thing too, now here, I'm going to back you guys out so you can see the whole thing. The other thing, we get to the point, especially with these, like especially a 543, I'd be like, if I was doing what I'm doing right now and saying, oh, should I add this? I know the 543s are done at that point. I'm like, okay, that's it. However, you know, with this one, like I said, I want to spend a little bit more time on this because it's, oh, what am I doing? Why don't I just straighten it out? I spend a little bit more time on this because this is for Adam, you know. So if there's anything that needs to be done, I want to make sure I get it done, but I'm thinking this is feeling pretty good. Oh, right, I got to land that tire. It's floating over there. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the whole thing. Super clean. You know that's what this car is about, so I don't want to add a bunch of weird stuff that's not going to tell the story. I do want to kind of land this wheel, so we're going to grab the black again. Start below the tire so I can fade out that shadow a little bit, get it darker, and then I can kind of move up to the tire. And obviously right underneath the tire, it's going to be the darkest where it's making contact. Same thing here, you know what? It's like, it's not about just nailing it and getting it done in one shot. It's so much better to just kind of sneak up on it. And it gives you more control, and takes a lot more patience to do that, but it pays off in the long run. The other thing I think I'm going to do to add a little bit to this is, do I have a cutout of that at all? Probably not. I should be able to use the upside down version of this. So the wheel well, or the white wall itself here, I want to add a little bit of a shading to that. So that little bit of shading on the white wall just helps to roll that tire, makes it feel the right shape. The other thing in the back side here, add a little bit of a drop shadow on this tire here. We'll do the same thing. Do I have a cutout that kind of matches that? Probably not. I'll just cut something out real quick. It's a pretty specific shape, so. Oh, can't cut with your paintbrush though. There we go. So what I'll do is just real quick, just make a quick template of this back wheel well. All I really need is that top line, but there we go. Perfect. What is it, close to 3 now? I need Honey, my timekeeper. Yeah, 3 o'clock. So yeah, so this fell right in the range of a 543. I mean, aside from pre-cutting everything, the painting itself took about 2 hours, which is about normal for a good 543. All right, so I've got that in there now. So I just want to really concentrate on the top of the wheel here for the tire, and that gives it that little bit of a bump. I'm going to leave the interior. I really want to, you know what though? I'm going to darken the interior a little bit. So it just feels a little bit too light up here. There's no difference between the background really, you know, and I feel like it should be a little bit darker. So again, kids, save all your cutouts because you can use them again. Now adjustment like this is really common too. Like it gets to the point where like, you know, like I'm making those value judgments at the beginning of the painting, and sometimes, you know, things get darker or things get lighter, and suddenly what you thought was right when you started isn't really right now. So yeah, that's much better. I feel better about that too. All right, so now we sign it and sign it here. There we go. That's what I got. Ta-da! Is that focused? And the other thing I do a lot is I'll just sit back, like with where you guys are now. So I'll just sit back and look at it and see if there's anything else that, again, it's a matter of working on it till there are no more mistakes. and I don't like what's going on here. I feel that needs to have a little bit more roundness. Oh, I see what's going on. I actually did it the opposite way. What really should be happening is there should be more black there. Again, here we go, right? It's always the wheels. Always the wheels. Wheels to a car are like hands and feet on a portrait for me. It's like they're the hardest to do. You wouldn't think so. You know, you think, oh, they're just wheels. But yeah, if they don't look right, they definitely don't look right. Yeah, because what I painted white on was actually a shadow of the top edge of the wheel. That's better. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'll give you another really, if you own any 543s, you can check for them to see if they have this. It's kind of like the double die thing in a coin. So when I signed this, the Micron Pigma pens, these things are awesome. They're great, they're waterproof, they're permanent, all that fun stuff, archival. But these take a little while to dry. So if I do what I just did, say I signed it, and then I realize there's something else I have to fix in the painting, you may have a 543 where the signature is like, looks like it's like got speed lines on it, like it's smudged. That's me putting my hand in the signature before it's dry. So it's worth more that way too, by the way. All right, so there's your shoebox for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun. And I'm getting stuff done. So I have one more 543 to get done for Monday. And again, if you are a regular or an irregular over on Monday night, I'm just going to move this out of the way. This Monday, if you have not won yet, one of these 543s, get your suggestions in this week, this coming Monday. It's the 11th, 10th, 11th. Because on the 18th, I'll be drawing 2 winners because I'm not sure that we'll have a Monday night feed on Christmas Day. So we might. I mean, I know it's going to be quiet here. So for anyone who is not of the Jeebus camp and have their Christmas Day free, I may still do a feed. But if I don't, I want to make sure we get the right amount of giveaways in. So I'm definitely going to do 2 giveaways on the 18th. So if you haven't won and you want your chance, get in there and do it. And that's fun. Other than that, that's what I got. So I want you all to have a great weekend. Thank you for hanging out. Huge thanks to Brad Mummery for his super chat. That was amazing. And a gigantic thanks to our friend Cheese Grits and NyQuil for the most amazing ring. So you guys are amazing. So thanks you. I'll drink more coffee. I'll be fine. Have a great weekend, and I will catch you guys all on the next one. Thanks a lot.